eye doctor. If you see it everywhere, it is in you. It is inclusive. We judge, and so join the club. It includes all differences. It is in all of us. Remove by acceptance. Stop looking at others. Look within. Accept and clean. No longer part of that club. All love, all one. So, here we are. And people all want to talk about the heart. The seat of emotions is not the heart. The seat of emotions is not the heart. The seat of emotions is the battlefield of wars. Pleasure and pain are not about love. They are about the senses. People alternate between pleasure and pain, hoping to land on pleasure. I think of like roulette with the spinning. It's gambling. A lot of gambling. God promised that he was not going to drown us again with water, right? Didn't he say that? We think he said it. We hope he said it. Right now, I'm not so sure. Where I am pretty sure of looking at, he's going to drown us with hate. We will choke on what we desire. Stimulation, hate, disruption. So for anyone who has kind of looked at the Old Testament and those folk out in the desert, not happy with the manna, said, we want meat. We want meat. And Moses goes to God and says, they want meat. They're not happy with what you're giving them. They want meat. And he says, I'll give them meat. It'll come out of their noses, out of their ears. I'll give them meet. And so he sends these birds, and the people go harvesting, killing the birds and eating the birds, and I think 10,000 people die, and everybody chokes. They got what they wanted. We're choking on hate. Why are where we are? I said it the other day. There is a global anger and hate that has been brewing underneath all the niceness. This is within each of us, and we have not dealt with it. So there is a gravitation towards someone who disrupts that veneer and manifests what we were and unwilling to face. So we hire them, and that puts us off the hook. And we're good, they're bad. We're nice, they're mean. And we're in the war of the emotions. We're on the battlefield. The heart, the seat where God dwells, which is within each and every one of us, is where wars are won. That's where we have to go. If we are playing the nice card, the good card, then we're encouraging the bad card. If we're playing the nice, good, loving card, then we're also playing the mean, vicious, horrible card. And if we project it onto someone else, and they willingly, and there's a lot of willinglies, they're happy. They're playing the way they want to play. Aren't we ridiculous? Our responsibility is to root the hate and anger out of ourselves. Which then means we have to accept that we're not as nice as we thought we were. We're not as sweet and good and warm, little, cute, fuzzy people. We have to accept that we have judgments. And at the very least say, yeah, I'm judgmental. But we've been here before, a few years back. I said we've got to root out hate. And I watched people leave because given the permission to hate, they couldn't accept that. And here we are, enmeshed in pain and pleasure, love and hate. Not love, God's love, the love of the emotions. So to that, I wanted to do some forcotomies. Loving, involved. Opposite. Let's do what happens when you're involved in loving. There is a sentiment, but it's emotionality. So, but you're involved. So what's the opposite of being involved? It would be neglecting, feral. Anything else? Indifferent. So what's the difference between this indifference and indifference to vice?
There's no love in the indifference.
No, indifference is indifference. So when you're indifferent in this place, what are you paying attention to?
Only me.
Vice. You're indifferent to what? Love. Indifference is indifference. It's what you're indifferent to. And what's that sutra say?
That it's appropriate to be indifferent to vice. To be
Happy for someone else's happiness. Compassionate for someone's misery. Indifferent to someone's happiness? No. Indifference to vice. So if you're indifferent to vice, what does that mean you're then doing? You're focused on God. You're not playing. You're not.
You're simply seeing it for what it is.
You see it for what it is, and that's it. You're not enmeshed in it.
You're not fascinated by it, or
We choke on what we desire. What are we all desiring? Stimulation, activity, fascination. We're all fascinated by hell. That's not indifference to vice.
Indifference to vice is Dante not getting caught up in the stories of the souls that he's seeing in hell, but rather just simply seeing what they did, what their sin is for what it is, and moving on.
Exactly.
and it takes him time to get there.
It does.
Not exactly there when he sees Paolo and Francesca.
Yeah, Virgil lets him know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, what's the negative of loving and involved? Enmeshed, entangled, lost in. Definitely not indifference to vice. And most people see love as enmeshed, entangled and lost in. And that if you're not enmeshed, entangled, and lost in, you're not caring, you're not loving. You okay?
Yeah.
What's the positive of neglectful, indifference? Free, detached, which is what, as we were just saying, Dante had to get to. To be enmeshed, lost in, and entangled. We drown with everybody else. Compassionate. Opposite.
Unfeeling. Indifferent.
No, because you think of compassionate, it's not about feeling. That's the seat of emotions again. That was the whole thing with that feed. That's hanging out in the seat of emotions. So I feel good, I feel bad. You're just feeling.
It's a lack of real care. It's not feeling.
It's not, it's intolerant. Which I grew up being called all the time by my mother, that I was intolerant. And I would say to her, if that intolerance means I don't and will not be okay with this, I'm okay being intolerant. You have to get to a place where you accept sticks and stones. Negative of compassionate.
Bleeding hearts or sin.
Yes, sucker. Sucker. Excusing. Putting up with. Seeing beyond. Mitigating. And the positive of intolerant. Rigorous. Deals with reality. Doesn't put up with. Not easily taken in. Not gullible. How many people are afraid of being called intolerant? So you're the sucker?
Yeah.
So are you compassionate?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you intolerant?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Do you mitigate, put up with, sucker, and excuse?
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Whoa. Do you deal with reality, rigorous, not easily taken in, and not gullible?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Because you'll do anything not to be called intolerant. Wow. What does that mean that people, what does that mean he will then do?
Fall for anything.
Anything. Get
He'll, that's exact, anything.
They'll certainly countenance anything.
Yeah, anything. So you end up being a supporter of hate. You can be manipulated so easily. Know yourself. Know the terrain. Know who you're playing with. So we were looking at one of the things that I do that people don't like. And that's the next word. And I model this all the time. I model this all the time. And I watch you guys not get it. Candor. Opposite.
Sugarcoat.
It's what she did last night. Evasive. She lives based on evasiveness. There's a lot of, oh yeah, oh my God. Did she not evade? Like everything. Not even, and was there anything to evade? No, did it matter? But I will not say this is a pencil. I am not going to say that this is a pencil. Correct? Mm-hmm. At all costs. Negative of candor. As I just provided.
Exposed.
Rude. That Rohini is rude. She's so rude. She just says what she says.
She tells me the truth.
Why does she do that? So, what did she think she did when she was evasive last night? Tactful. She has tact.
What's funny here is that, personally and professionally, I always check with you what is going to be, in a given situation, the most tactful way to say something.
Yeah.
And I study it.
Just as I saw that one place in the article today that I knew
Yeah.
could.
Which
Mm-hmm.
just, a little too much information.
Yeah.
You're always tactful in your candor.
Why don't you do candor? Why couldn't you just speak the truth last night?
It wasn't good enough.
Did she just evade?
Felt like I had to.
Are you being tactful? Do you think you're being tactful right now?
I guess I did. Yeah, the truth wasn't
Yeah.
pretty, and I wanted to have a prettier truth.
Yeah. So you were going to evade. You were being tactful. And you weren't going to be rude by telling the truth. Mm? Yes. Yeah. And in this time where we are dealing, where we're going to drown in our own hate, we need candor. We need tact. We need a little rudeness. And we need to know how to be evasive appropriately. And you can't do this without being off the grid. Next one, part of that whole thing, authority. Who does she think she is? Opposite of authority. And having authority. Opposite.
Is authority negative or positive here?
It's a positive, 100
This is-
gazillion%. Yeah.
It's internal. It's the authority,
Authority.
of knowing, expertise.
Expertise.
That sort of thing. It's not like an external position of authority.
Yeah. It's not somebody you were elected or hired to or whatever.
Then would be knowing limits.
Opposite is ignorance. And the negative of authority. No, this is going to be the authority, internal authority. You know you have authority internally. You have insight, truth.
Responsibility doesn't have to be a negative, but it does.
It did, yeah.
It could be.
In that sense, the painful clarity.
This reminds me of you had one a couple years ago that was alarmist.
Mhm.
To know the gravity of the situation.
Right. So we had, in April, put out a calling for an article, calling for the issue of the SAFER, the FSO, and we were called alarmists by one particular person. And there it is. So, alarmist is actually knowing the gravity of it. But if you're living in ignorance, you're then, what's the positive? Of yeah, blissfully numb.
Yeah.
Blissfully numb. Yeah. It's just like blissful. What?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't, I didn't know that, and I'm not, and it's not going to affect me.
Yeah, it's not going to affect me.
It's not going to affect me. You're
it's
in
too far away.
yeah, alarmist. Not going to affect me. Unencumbered?
Except that you're encumbered with ignorance.
Yeah, you're encumbered with ignorance. What?
It's like back to not having any responsibility. Stick your head in the mud so that you don't.
Right, but you don't even, not even aware that you're unencumbered. It's like,
I mean, you may not feel it, but obliviousness is an encumbrance.
yeah. Yeah. Did you hear that?
Obliviousness is unencumbered.
Is
Is an encumbrance.
is an encumbrance. Yeah, you are totally, what? It's an affliction.
Yeah.
Remember, what are the 5 afflictions? What's the first one? Ignorance. And what is the definition of ignorance? Taking what's not real to be real, what's impermanent to be permanent, what's non-self to be self. And then what happens? We lose our subject in the object of this idea that we've now created. And then we're attracted by certain things based on that idea, that ignorance. We're repulsed by certain things. Don't rain on my parade. Don't bring facts into the issue here. I don't want to hear about that. I'm having a good time. I'm playing. I'm a good person. Don't bring me down. And the final, clinging to life, fear of death, of that wrong understanding. Oh.
That's where we fight you
Mm-hmm.
when you're pulling it apart.
Yes, it's not who any of us is. Thank God. So, do you have authority?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you ignorant?
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Are you painfully clear?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Are you blissfully numb? Your answer was, I hope so. Is that okay with you? Yeah. Anyone else want to do that one? Do you have authority?
No.
Is that okay with you? Yeah. Are you ignorant?
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Are you painfully clear?
No.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you blissfully numb?
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Wow. Woof. I rest my case. God is going to drown us with hate. We're going to choke on it all. Last one, love. And when I say love, I mean the one in that seat of emotions, love. Opposite.
Hate.
Hateful. Hateful. The negative of love. And once you go from the first love to the real love, what's the negative?
Is it weak or
Think of me. What do you guys do?
real love is clear?
So,
This love.
this is, say this, I said. No, I said, you didn't listen. And now you're doing something else. She's being what? Evasive. Said, think of me. You reject. Rejection. Positive of hateful.
Accept it.
Part of the community. Part of the group. You get to be a what?
Lots of company.
Lots of company. A PLU. You look at love, and if you love, are you going to fit into the world? Are you going to fit into your life? Are people going to reject you? So don't do it. So then my next question is, then what are you doing here? What are you doing here? The heart is where wars are won. Why'd I say that?
Off the grid in actual love is the only answer.
It's how you win.
Outside of that, you've already lost in the battle.
You're on the battlefield and you're just battling.
Or dead.
You're already dead. Because who are you? Not you.
And you can see clearer when you're at that place to make decisions.
You see clearly.
Clearly.
You can't see clearly when you're on that battlefield. That's why if you remember, if you think of wars, the way they used to be fought, there was always the general above on the hill to see what was happening. He could see the whole field. And did he go out onto that battlefield? Most cases, no. And think, if you go back to Redcliffe, the strategist, where was he? He was away. In the Yoga Sutras, as a dualistic Prakriti and Purusha, what's the image? The general, the witness on the hill. It is not until we get to a non-dualistic, where you have to experience that we're all the all. So that's when we have to accept we're all truly the hateful as well as the loving. But we have to get there first. We have to accept within ourselves first. And once we know we're the all, we're everybody, where are we then? We're not on that battlefield. We're again we are the battlefield. We're all of it, and we're none of it. It's a both and. The seat of emotions, the human heart, the gooey, gooey, gooey place is where people fight. That's why a great warrior does not has his or her emotions under control. Thoughts under control. Feelings under control. So emotions are just a vehicle. To be used, not to be used by. And most people get caught up in pleasure. They want pleasure, whatever that is for them. Questions?
Could I ask about last week when you were talking about the mind
Mm-hmm.
doing this back and forth?
Yeah,
Um,
distracted.
distracting and how we want to believe that when we're in a good place, that's who we really are, but it's not the witness. Today's talk triggered that.
Yeah.
We never get to the witness. It's
No.
only the mind.
This is only the mind.
Yeah.
This is only the mind. This is on the grid. This is caught in the mind. You are the mind.
But we trick ourselves into thinking, this is me finally.
Finally, this is me. It's sweet. It's soft. It's
Yeah.
gooey. It's nice. It's this, that. No, it's not who we are at all. Not at all. And if this is here, this is here. And if this is here, then we have to, and we're not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I have to hire someone else to do it. Until, that's why the whole point of why the need of a guru, the experience of Shaktipat, and then that with rigor, practice, grace, comes the experience of who we truly are. as opposed to who we're not. Who we're not. We are not a thought form. We are no thought form. We are not letters coming together. Thank you.